Democratic lawmaker pushes bill to protect immigrants in detention. Pentagon says Hegseth broke rules sharing classified Yemen strike info on Signal. 65-year-old man set on fire on Times Square subway. I'm Kat Pockris, and this is News Recap. A federal judge in Washington has blocked the Trump administration from making wide immigration arrests in the nation's capital without a warrant. Judge Beryl Howell says agents can only arrest without one if they have real evidence someone is in the country illegally and likely to run. The ACLU and immigrants' rights groups sued, saying agents were patrolling Latino neighborhoods, setting up checkpoints and arresting people without proper cause. They shared sworn statements from people who say they were picked up with no warrant. The government denies this. DHS officials Tricia McLaughlin called the claims false and reckless, saying arrests are based on immigration status and not race. But the judge stated there is strong evidence the rules weren't followed. She ordered agents to write down the specific facts behind any warrantless arrests in D.C. and turn that over to the plaintiff's lawyers. Similar rulings have already come down in Colorado and California. After a judge blocked broad immigration arrests in D.C., Wisconsin is now facing its own legal fight. The ACLU is suing on behalf of immigrant rights group, arguing local jails can't hold immigrants just because ICE requests it. The Wisconsin Supreme Court split 4-3, agreed to take the case directly. If things move fast, final ruling could come by mid-2026. The lawsuit targets 5 counties where sheriffs honor ICE detainers, holding someone up to 48 hours past their release so federal agents can pick them up. The ACLU argues this is an illegal arrest under state law. Sheriffs insist, though, that they are following the law. Republican lawmakers want to punish counties that refuse ICE detainers, but Democratic Governor Tony Evers is likely to veto the bill. Federal agents hit the streets of New Orleans. Officials say the focus is on rounding up immigrants accused of violent crimes. In Kenner, a suburb with the state's largest Hispanic population at about 30%, agents were seen patrolling neighborhoods. Associated Press reporters watched convoys of marked and unmarked vehicles slowly drive past gas stations and a Walmart. At one point, agents pulled over and spoke with a man mowing his lawn. In another neighborhood, about a dozen agents surrounded a home where a man stood on the roof waiting for officers to leave. Neighbors and advocates filmed the scene on their phones. The agents wore Border Patrol clothing, but most faces were covered. After the patrols, many agents left in unmarked SUVs. While courts in D.C. and Wisconsin are challenging federal immigration arrests, Representative Immigrant Jayapal is pushing a bill on Capitol Hill to protect people in detention. Her Dignity for Detained Immigrants Act would phase out private detention centers, ban holding children and families, and let lawmakers to do unannounced inspections. Jayapal says courts across the country, including judges appointed by President Trump, have already ruled against his mass detention policies, saying they violate due process. At a press conference on Wednesday, activist Mahmoud Khalil, arrested by ICE in March for protesting the war in Gaza, spoke about his experience. He was released by a federal judge in June, but his case is still ongoing. Khalil said no one should be detained just for immigration enforcement. Jayapal's bill has more than 120 sponsors. She says the people being held are active members of their communities, following immigration rules, and should not be detained at all. Pentagon finally reviewed Pete Hegseth's Signal situation and confirmed he did indeed violate military rules. The defense secretary shared classified details about a U.S. strike in Yemen on a private Signal chat. The information was marked secret and could have put American troops in danger if it fell into the wrong hands. He also used his personal phone for official business, breaking Pentagon rules. Hegseth insists he did nothing wrong. On X, he wrote, "No classified information, total exoneration, case closed." The White House backed him, saying mission security wasn't harmed. Senator Mark Kelly warned Hegseth to be careful next time, saying breaking rules could have serious consequences. The chat became public after a journalist was accidentally added. It included sensitive details about when U.S. jets would strike targets in Yemen. Some messages were even shared with Hegseth's family and lawyer. The New York Times is suing the Pentagon, continuing the spotlight on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, claiming new rules limiting how reporters cover the military violate the First Amendment. The lawsuit filed earlier today in Washington challenges a 21-page agreement Pentagon reporters were told to sign in October. Many journalists, including 6 from the Times, handed in their Pentagon badges in protest. The Times argues the policy restricts reporters from asking questions and gathering information and is an attempt to control coverage the government doesn't like. The lawsuit names Hegseth and Pentagon spokesman Sean Purnell as defendants. The Department of War maintains the rules are meant to prevent leaks that could harm national security, not to target specific news outlets. Some major media organizations, including NBC, refused to sign the agreement last fall. The policy bans gathering or publishing information without government authorization, even if it's declassified or collected off Pentagon grounds. Violating the rules could lead to losing Pentagon access altogether. The FBI has arrested a suspect in the pipe bomb cases near the Republican and Democratic National Headquarters in Washington, D.C. on January 5, 2021. 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. from Northern Virginia was charged with transporting explosives and attempted destruction using explosives. The arrest comes nearly 5 years after the bombs were found. Officials say the investigation is ongoing and more charges could be coming. The bombs were discovered about 15 hours after being planted and could have seriously injured or even killed bystanders. Cole's arrest ends a long mystery that fueled conspiracy theories. Neighbors said they were shocked and had no idea anything was happening at his home. San Diego police have named a person of interest after human remains were found at a local home. 74-year-old Dwight William Rohn, a former tenant, is in custody and charged with killing Bernardo Marino. Authorities haven't released more details about the homicide. The discovery came after California Highway Patrol detectives suspected bodies were on the property in the South Crest neighborhood. The FBI and other agencies served a search warrant on Tuesday and recovered the remains. It is unclear if the remains belong to more than one person, and authorities have not revealed the cause of death. 3 Omaha police officers were wounded in a shootout at a gas station, and a suspect was killed. The suspect, a man in his 20s, had earlier shot a 61-year-old man multiple times at a grocery store around noon. Officers got the suspect's license plate and tracked him to a gas station. The suspect went into a restroom and then came out firing at officers. 2 officers were hit directly, and the third was injured by shrapnel. The officers returned fire, killing the shooter. All 3 were taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The officer hit by shrapnel has since been released. The condition of the 61-year-old shooting victim is unknown. And another shootout, a standoff in Stamford, Connecticut, ended in tragedy after a man barricaded himself in a home and fired at police. 63-year-old Jed Parkington was later found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot. No officers were hurt. Afterward, police found a decomposed body on the 2nd floor and several explosives, including pipe bombs, grenades, and Molotov cocktails. The identity and cause of death of the body are still under investigation. The home had been foreclosed on, and judge ordered eviction last month. Authorities say the state inspector general is reviewing the officer's use of force during the standoff. A 65-year-old man was set on fire on a subway train pulling into Times Square earlier this week, and police are searching for the person responsible. Surveillance video shows the man engulfed in flames as he collapsed on the platform at the 42nd Street station around 3 a.m. He suffered severe burns to his legs, and burnt skin was found on a train seat. The victim, who appeared to be homeless, first told police someone else set him on fire, but later admitted he may have made up the story. Burnt paper was also found on the train. He was taken to a hospital with serious burns. Police are still investigating, and no arrests have been made. A new report warns that AI companies aren't keeping up with safety as their systems get more and more powerful. The Winter 2025 AI Safety Index looked at 8 top AI companies. Only Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google DeepMind scored in the top tier, and even they got just a C+. Others, including xAI, Meta, and China's DeepSeek and Alibaba Cloud, scored much lower. Experts say the gap between AI capabilities and safety is growing fast. The report urges companies to share safety practices, use independent checks, and prevent harm. Even with safety efforts, AI leaders like Sam Altman are pushing towards systems smarter than humans, raising fears about superintelligent AI. An 88-year-old Army veteran in Michigan is about to get a life-changing gift after a viral video helped raise over $1.5 million for him. Ed Bambus lost his pension and most of his life insurance when his company went bankrupt in 2012. His wife, who was sick at the time, died 7 years ago. Since then, Bambus has been working full-time at a grocery store to get by. Australian influencer Samuel Weidenhofer shared Bambus' story and started a GoFundMe. By Thursday, it had raised more than $1.5 million, with plans to give him the money in a ceremony on Friday. Bambus' son says his father had no idea about the fundraiser and is overwhelmed by the support. The money will let him finally retire and start living for himself. One lucky person in New Jersey won $90 million in Tuesday's Mega Million jackpot. The winning ticket was sold at Garden State News on Bergen Line Avenue in Union City. The winner hasn't come forward yet, but the cash value of the ticket is $41 million. This is the 8th time since 2018 that New Jersey has sold a Mega Millions or Powerball jackpot ticket. The lottery stand owner, Krish Patel, will take home $30,000. New Jersey Lottery Executive Director Jim Carey noted that a lot of lucky winners come from New Jersey, along with California. Tonight, the final supermoon of the year will light up the sky. NASA says it will look up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter than the smallest full moon of 2025. Supermoons happen when moon swings closer to Earth. It looks extra big near the horizon or next to buildings, trees, or landmarks. The night before, the moon will pass in front of the Seven Sisters star cluster, giving skywatchers another stunning view. Tides might be slightly higher, but the change is barely noticeable. No telescope is needed, just a clear night and a good view. And that is all for now. The top stories of the day, no fluff and straight to the point. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I'm Kat Puckras, and I'll see you next time.